We'll hear from an area manufacturer on how the pandemic has affected production.
President-elect Joe Biden introduces his key national security and foreign policy picks. I'm Natalie Brand with how the formal transition process is now moving forward.
The U.S. sets another record for COVID-19 hospitalizations for the 14th straight day.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
COVID-19 has an impact on a lot of industries and fields, including manufacturing. This is KOIM News at 5. A couple of local manufacturers are seeing differing effects. Modine Manufacturing in Joplin makes heat transfer products and says at the start of the pandemic, demand for their products decreased 50%. Now plant officials tell us demand is higher than it was prior to the pandemic, but they're coming up short on workers.
It's a struggle to find people. They have sent us everybody they have, and that's it. And it's interesting with unemployment rate much higher than it was, say, 8-9 months ago before the pandemic. It seems like it's more difficult to find people now than it was then.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more from Modine and from a manufacturer on the other end of the spectrum. The city of Joplin and Freeman Health System announced today Joplin's Christmas parade is canceled. Organizers say the decision was made in the best interest of public safety. The annual parade was scheduled for next Tuesday and had been modified into a reverse parade of sorts where the floats and participants are stationary and the spectators drive through. Brings us to today's KOIM News Now Instapoll. Today's question is, do you agree with Joplin's decision to cancel the Christmas parade? You can vote at KOIMNewsNow.com/vote or through the KOIM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we'll be checking in on them periodically through KOIM News at 5. We'll have the final results on KOIM News at 6. If you're looking for an alternative to the parade, well, the Joplin Parks and Rec Department today opened the new Holiday Tree Trail at Mercy Park. The trail features a series of decorated trees from area businesses and organizations. The public can vote in a tree decorating contest.
Being able to do it outside this year and to let people gather with their families and enjoy a great holiday experience is definitely something that we still wanted to be able to do this year.
The Holiday Tree Trail will be up until January 1st. Doug Hetty joins us from home today. Hello, Doug. You are on camera. I know you're keeping an eye on the storms out there.
Yeah, I always try to make faces at the directors, but you caught me. Yeah, we've had showers, we've had thunderstorms that have kind of rolled through really most of the day. Nothing too strong, nothing severe across the region, and the heaviest rain is now pushed off toward the east, at least for now. Then we're going to start to see some changes later on tonight. So if we look right now, you can see the heaviest rain is in our northern counties, and all this is lifting off toward the east, northeast at a pretty good clip. And then we get a little bit of a break, but look what's going on out across central Oklahoma. This is a pretty good line of showers and thunderstorms. This is still about 150 miles away from us, but eventually they're going to make it here later on this evening, and they could pose at least a severe threat across the region. So we're going to have to watch that closely. Let's go through time, just these hit and miss showers over the next couple hours. And then look at this line driving in. So here's 8 p.m., here's 9 p.m., you can see the line pushing into the heart of the 4-state area. Again, some of these could be strong, possibly severe. So we're going to break that down for you here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you then. Thanks, Doug. President Trump made 2 public appearances today, 3 weeks after the election, but he did not take any questions. His administration has begun the transition process, though he still has not conceded. President-elect Biden formally introduced several of the people he's chosen to be part of his incoming administration. Reporter Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
Well, good afternoon, everyone.
President-elect Joe Biden presented his key diplomatic and national security nominees Tuesday.
We're going to have the first woman lead the intelligence community, the first Latino and immigrant to lead the Department of Homeland Security, and a groundbreaking diplomat at the United Nations.
The picks include Alejandro Mayorkas to serve as Secretary of Homeland Security.
My father and mother brought me to this country to escape communism.
And Linda Thomas Greenfield to represent the United States at the UN.
Only in America would we be where we are today.
Nearly 3 weeks after the election, General Services Administrator Emily Murphy officially signed off on the beginning of the transition process.
I'm pleased to have received the ascertainment from GSA.
The Biden-Harris transition team is now in contact with federal agencies, and a key focus is the country's most pressing issue, the coronavirus pandemic.
We will ensure coordinated briefings with them to ensure they're getting whatever information that they feel they need.
The president did not address the transition, but made brief remarks praising the stock market.
I just want to congratulate all the people within the administration that worked so hard.
Later, he presided over the annual White House turkey pardon.
You invite President-elect Biden.
On Twitter, President Trump still says his challenges to the election results are moving full speed ahead. But his campaign was dealt another blow Tuesday when Pennsylvania certified that President-elect Biden won the state by more than 80,000 votes. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
Next week, the president-elect is expected to name his economic team. Former Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen is reported to be the front runner for Treasury Secretary. If chosen and confirmed, she would be the first woman to serve in that position. We have a sad note to pass along: the death of a member of the KOAM family. Matt Newberry joined us in 2016 in Master Control and later became the Master Control Supervisor. He loved sports, spent years working with Pitt State in the MIAA. Matt was one of the driving forces behind our annual Pigskin Preview. Matt was a colleague, and of course, more importantly, Matt was a friend, and we will miss him. An analysis of more than 135,000 U.S. children with COVID-19 finds it disproportionately hits teens, children with diabetes or cancer, and children from lower income families, as well as children who are Black, Hispanic, and Asian. The study published in JAMA Pediatrics also shows most children are less likely to test positive and less likely to suffer severe illness if and when they do get infected. People with diabetes and eye disease are 5 times more likely to require intubation if they're hospitalized with COVID-19. That's according to a UK study. Researchers say diabetic eye disease is a marker of pre-existing damage to the blood vessels. The Surgeon General delivered a bleak warning today as COVID hospitalizations continue to surge. More than 85,000 people in the United States are now hospitalized with the virus. That's according to the COVID Tracking Project. Sets a new record for the 14th day in a row. Nancy Chen reports.
At St. Louis University's ICU, every room is full.
In the beginning, I wasn't seeing such young patients, and now lately we're getting patients in their 20s.
COVID patient Mary Daly is not in the ICU, but being alone is taking its toll.
I don't know what to expect.
Missouri is one of 6 Midwestern states that are the hardest hit in terms of hospitalizations. With record-breaking numbers of hospitalizations across the nation, the Surgeon General explained the severity of the moment.
You may not be able to go in and get your heart attack treated. I've heard hospitals not being able to provide care for pregnant women because they're filled with COVID beds.
Here in New York City, a field hospital that hasn't been used since the peak of the pandemic last spring has just reopened.
The temporary treatment center is on Staten Island, where hospitalizations have tripled in the past 3 weeks.
The majority of the patients are going to be people that were treated for COVID, have gotten past that phase where they're really critically ill but still need care.
And even as the race to a vaccine shows promising results, a new poll finds nearly a quarter of New Yorkers say they are unlikely to get the vaccine when it becomes available. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
The survey from the Siena College Research Institute showed 35% said they definitely would take the vaccine and 34% said they would probably take it. A Mediterranean diet that has less animal protein and more vegetables improves heart health and promotes weight loss in men. That's according to a new study in the British Medical Journal. Researchers say this greener Mediterranean diet increases the daily intake of micronutrients, antioxidants, healthy fats, and fiber. Vegetarians, vegans, and people who eat fish but not meat all have a higher risk of bone fractures compared to meat eaters. Researchers in the UK say low intake of calcium and protein can lead to poorer bone health. Let's check back in with our KOAM News Now Instapoll. Again, our question today is, do you agree with Joplin's decision to cancel the Christmas parade? At this point, 80% of respondents say yes, they do. You can join in the conversation by voting at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Doug is up next with a complete look at the forecast, and a little bit later, prices at the pump.
Less people are traveling this Thanksgiving holiday, and if they do, it will be by car. I'm Danya Backus with a look at an incentive drivers have to hit the road.
Well, of course, it turned out to be another dreary day for us today. Temperatures kind of cool once again, and we've had on and off showers, even a few random little thunder showers out there that have given us about 0.4 of an inch of rain. So for the month, we're over 3 inches. For the year, we're closing in on 45 inches of rain, which is a little bit above where we should be for this time of the year. Temperatures, though, they're okay. We're sitting into the mid-50s across the board. We'll slowly drop back as we work through the evening hours and the overnight hours for us tonight. Eventually, by morning, we'll get down into the mid-40s, but it is wet, so be careful if you are going to be on the roads. 55 south winds, 10 to 15. Humidity is up there at 93%, and through the evening hours, kind of sit into the 50s, but eventually, late tonight, we'll drop back into the mid-40s for overnight lows. Look at the showers, even some thunderstorms that have been rolling through. We actually got some heavy amounts of rain early this afternoon with this first little batch, and then behind it, you just have this light drizzle, light showers, which continue to work through. You can see most of this is on the Missouri side, really stretching from northwestern Arkansas, and then a little bit heavier once you get toward Nevada, Fort Scott, and then stretching back toward the west near Yates Center. But then a break. Not too much going on until you get out across south central parts of Kansas down through parts of Oklahoma. And this is the main line of showers and thunderstorms which are going to work in. Some of these are strong to severe, and that's why there's a severe thunderstorm watch out across north central parts of Oklahoma, but still a pretty good distance away from us, and still at least a couple hours before they start to move into our western counties. This line is going to rotate through, and some of those storms could be strong, even low-grade severe. So we're going to watch that throughout the evening hours, and then this whole system will wrap up and head off toward the east. So over the next hour or two, just light showers, a little bit of drizzle. Then we're going to watch this bigger line start to work in. I think it should get to our western counties around 8 and then push through the region. So here's 9 p.m. You can see the heaviest of the storms right along the state line at this point in time at about 9 o'clock. They'll continue to work through. Most of these are going to be gone by 11 or midnight, but again, heavy amounts of rain, and some of those storms could be strong, even low-grade severe. If we had anything severe, it would be mainly gusty winds and some large hail. I don't really see much of a tornado threat, but something we'll watch. We still have some morning showers tomorrow, and then the clouds stick around most of the day. We'll start to clear out by the time the sun goes down, but our temperature is going to be kind of cool. 44 to start, 47 by noon. High temp right around 49 degrees as we head into the afternoon hours. Rainfall amounts with the next line that's going to roll through, I think an additional ½ inch, maybe even a little bit heavier in spots. And then we look much better by the time we head toward Thanksgiving. So 49 tomorrow, some morning showers, but look at Thanksgiving. Even if you want to do Thanksgiving outside, of course, social distancing, it looks pretty good. 64 by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll drop back to about 57 by 6 p.m. Temperatures a little bit cooler into the holiday weekend with some rain chances late Saturday into early Sunday.
And I know you'll be keeping an eye on those storms tonight and update us as necessary.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Coming up, a look at gas prices as fewer people hit the road this Thanksgiving. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Norman Winninger served in the U.S. Air Force from 1964 to 68. The Joplin native was stationed at Otis Air Force Base in Massachusetts, and we salute Airman Second Class Norman Winninger, a four-state hero. Consumer Reports is calling on the U.S. government to issue stronger COVID-19 travel safety standards. The consumer watchdog wants the Transportation Department to mandate guidelines for airports and airlines, particularly in the run-up to the holidays. The FAA issued recommendations earlier this month advising travelers to wear masks and practice social distancing. Australia's largest airline says it might require travelers on international flights to get a coronavirus vaccine once it becomes available. Qantas announced yesterday it plans to include the mandate in its terms and conditions. The CEO, Alan Joyce, says the airliner thinks it's a necessity for international visitors coming out and people leaving the country. Coronavirus restrictions and concerns have fewer people leaving home for the holiday. Most who are traveling will drive, and they'll be saving some money this year. Reporter Danya Backus explains.
Larice Peoples is preparing for his Thanksgiving trip from Los Angeles to Fresno, California. He's one of the nearly 48 million people expected to hit the road for the holiday.
I decided to stay local in California because my family is back east and decided not to fly there, but actually to drive to see family that's closer.
Because of COVID-19, AAA expects a 10% drop in travel this Thanksgiving. 95% of Americans who do leave home are expected to travel by car. And there's good news for drivers.
Gas prices have just been consistently cheap.
Jeanette McGee is with AAA.
Right now, motorists can find gas for $1.99 or less at 55% of gas stations across the country. Compare that to last year at this time, 1% of gas stations had gas available for $1.99 or less.
The national average for a gallon of unleaded is down about 48 cents from this time last year.
I love these gas prices. I bought a new truck because of the gas prices. So for me, man, the gas prices definitely helps out in my decision being able to drive.
AAA predicts gas prices will stay low through the holiday season.
We've definitely seen gas prices decrease in the past month, and we expect that trend to continue well into December.
McGee suggests if you are hitting the road, be aware of local and state travel restrictions, including quarantine orders, which Larice says he has done. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
AAA also projects those who are traveling will drive shorter distances and spend fewer days away. General Motors is recalling nearly 6 million SUVs and pickup trucks in the U.S. due to potentially dangerous Takata airbags. The recall is for 2007 to 2014 Cadillac, Chevrolet, and GMC models. 18 people have been killed by shrapnel from exploding Takata airbag inflators. The federal government rejected an argument by GM yesterday that this version of the problematic airbag did not need replacing. Black Panther claws, a plush owl, and sci-fi slime. Those are 3 of the 10 worst toys, according to the group World Against Toys Causing Harm. The toy advocacy group's annual list lays out items that could cause injuries, pose choking hazards, or are potentially harmful if swallowed. T-Mobile is the first mobile carrier to step up to the plate in support of mental health. The carrier says its customers can now dial 988 for emergency mental health services. People would then be connected to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. The FCC voted in on that number in July to make it easier to connect struggling Americans to help. Let's take another look at our KOIM News Now Insta poll. Again, we're asking, do you agree with Joplin's decision to cancel the Christmas parade? So far, 82% say yes, 18% no. Still have time to vote at KOIMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOIM News Now mobile app. We're going to have the final results on the poll on KOIM News at 6. Final check on the forecast is next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOIM News at 6, we're going to hear from another area manufacturer on how the pandemic has impacted production. Plus, the Kansas High School Activities Association votes on a proposal to delay the start of winter sports, and how the Carthage Crisis Center is making sure they can safely host their annual Thanksgiving dinner. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOIM News at 6. Let's quickly check back with Doug for a final look at the weather.
All right, Dow, it looks like we're going to have more showers and thunderstorms working back in late this evening. Some of those could be strong, even low-grade severe, so we'll keep our eyes on that. Morning showers tomorrow, then a lot of clouds, kind of chilly, but look at Thanksgiving. Mostly sunny skies, high temp of 64.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOIM News at 6. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.